Hey, this is Tanya K. Taylor with part 5 of 5 for success strategies for your power readers. And again, POWER is an acronym the Lord gave me a few years ago. It stands for Purposeful Operations with Eternal Rewards. Education cannot be taken away unless somebody has a brain injury or something. Education lasts forever, and we want to give them a positive, excellent education as much as possible. So I'm going to share with you 17 through 20. The last 4 tips of my 20 tips, although I threw in some lagniappe on those others, and that means, it's a French Cajun word that means the delight factor, extra, or bonus. All right, number 17. It's important, of course, to have a lot of good reading material available. And I found with a lot of my students that come from poverty backgrounds or homes where they're split or something, they usually don't have a lot of books or magazines or good reading material around. So my husband and I have joyfully contributed many books to school libraries and to the kids themselves, and they're like, wow, because we love books. We go to the library, we have books and books and books. We've given away books and books and books, and it's been hard to give some of those books, so not to the kids. But we enjoy books and reading and magazines and things, so we understand. And one of the best ways to encourage your readers to be power readers is to have an abundance of good reading material available. Now, of course, there are digital libraries, online materials. Again, you need to supervise those and know what they're reading. So again, guide them in choosing the material. Some books have the levels marked, some don't. And it's good to have a mix of books that's on the child's level, but then books and other materials that are above the child's level to encourage them to read higher and bigger, even if they don't understand all the words. You can go back to some of my earlier strategies in some of these earlier videos, parts 1 and 2, I think. Teach them to find a small word in the bigger word. That will help them with pronunciation. Teach them to look for root words. And these are strategies that will help them to, in addition to using context clues, to figure out what words mean, how to say them, stuff like that. So if a child has a book also like Green Eggs and Ham that they want to read year after year after year, even though, you know, by the time they're in 5th and 6th grade, they're way beyond Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. Let them. Because, first of all, those books usually rhyme, if not all of the Dr. Seuss books. And that's good for the musical, creative side, because our brains love the creativity of rhyme. And it's a comfort. It can be a comfort to them. Maybe that's, if they're stressed, maybe that's a book they like to read while they're stressed. Or something like Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type. I wish I had wish I had written that book. It's genius about cows that type. You'll have to check it out. So that book is like a lower elementary, but they may want to read it. I've read it a few years ago. I looked it up on purpose, got it out of the library just to read for enjoyment, for humor, to make me laugh. So let them keep at least 1 or 2 books if they want to read them every so often. That may be how they warm up. Then help them read on their level. Help them read things that are higher, but not so high that they would get discouraged. Just the Lord will guide you. Every child's different. Okay, well, that was 17 and 18. Another thing is, if a child starts reading something and they put it down quickly, they may be just bored, but it may be like if it's a scientific book, they just don't understand it. So they can get bored because they don't understand it. They may be interested in the material. It's just you may need to find them a book on the same subject at a lower level of reading. Okay? It's amazing how much we can learn from reading. That's another reason it's important to guard what they read, to know what the books are about. Okay. And I'm just going to throw this in too, because I'm a Christian, believe in Jesus Christ, and I've had experiences from reading books that are like horror books and then having bad dreams. Guess what? I got rid of the bad books and repented, and the dreams went away. There you go. That's for free. Okay, number 19. Give them lots of praise and encouragement. Tell them you're glad that they're good readers. And remember that the backs of cereal boxes and instructions work well. I remember, now I'm remembering right now, I remember when my little girl, she was what, 6, 7? No, she had to be younger than that. She must have been 4 or 5. I'm not sure now. She was very, very young, just starting to read. And to me, I hadn't made much progress helping her, but we walked into a restaurant. It was a Chinese restaurant. And she looked up, and she just read the word women's bathroom out loud. I'm like, yeah! Another cheer for women's bathroom. So, signs, street signs, billboards, signs inside, having a print-rich environment, which is what we teachers are supposed to do anyway, in your home is good. Like I have celebrate on the wall, and I have scriptures on the wall, and I have Psalm 24:1 and things like that. Whatever you can think of. Help them to have them help you, like if you write a letter or an email or a text to somebody or a greeting card, have them read it to you. All right, number 20. If you're a believer in Jesus Christ and have the freedom, use Bible stories. Besides that, kids love them, and overall they're not taught Bible stories nearly as much as they were when I was growing up. Teach them song lyrics to worship songs and more. You'll be endlessly creative. Even just have them write out affirmations about themselves, or have them do something like I did with my 4th grade class. They loved it. For Thanksgiving, I had them write 100 things they were thankful for. 100! They were overwhelmed at first, but then they really got into it. Most of them got that with a little help. Sometimes they'd need a little prompting, and I'd let them help each other with suggestions, and I would make a few suggestions. Then I had one young man, he got into it so much, he said, can I write more than 100? Yeah, baby, do it. He wrote over 200. And here's one of the neat things that the Lord gave me this idea with. He was, I had him write, sentences and then leave some space between it so they could cut these strips of paper up. And I gave them glass jars. They were glass. We had a couple of break, but most of them were fine. Okay, 4th graders, they need to learn to handle stuff, and they did well. We took the stickers off, and I gave them stickers, fun stickers, and markers, and glitter, and all this stuff. They decorated them, and we called the craft their Thanksgiving time capsules. They put their strips in there, and they took them home for Thanksgiving break to share with their families, and to read them out, to pull them out and read them and say what they're thankful for. God loves that. He commands us to be thankful. And they love that. And even some parents I talked to love that. So that's another idea. And God will give you all kinds of ideas to get your power readers reading and writing. Remember, they go together. And my dad used to, and Mom, introduced me to big words when I was like 4 or 5. And I'm so glad they would teach me these big words and have me write them out. You can do that. And the Lord will give you more and more ideas. So go for it. And those are success strategies to help your power readers be even more powerful.